Well then, the new single. I mean, it's been released in August. Save Me. Is this your most personal song on the album?
Most of the songs on the album, come from some kind of personal, if not experience, something that I feel personally connected to.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's something of a love song for my girlfriend, or it's about sort of how we came to be together, and it's about her grace. So it's personal, definitely.
Is it when did you record and write this song during the album process?
Save Me was towards the end. Somebody that I used to know was the last song that was finished because it took so long to get the recording done. And yeah, Save Me, State of the Art, and I Feel Better, I think, were some of the last ones that were finished.
Okay, because Save Me, at the end it is obvious that it's a love song, but when you start out you can also, read it like someone who has trouble finishing the album. Is it true? Because the lines running through all the options and the endings were rolling in front of me, but I couldn't choose a thread to begin.
It relates to that. It's not, at different points making the record, how I was feeling in my life was very heavily wrapped up in how my record was going. Yeah. And so there were definitely moments when I felt so invested in, what the sound of tracks, what the outcome was going to be or how the album was working. I felt quite depressed a lot of times. And so that sort of started to really seep out into how the whole of my life was feeling. Yeah. And that was a big thing, I think, that my girlfriend Tash helped me through and helped me to kind of, get straight.
What did she do then?
I couldn't even say that it's specific things other than being incredibly beautiful and supporting and, and inspiring me every day with the person she is.
Now, it could be that maybe that she said to you, well, you have to finish it, and then she woke you up every morning at 8 o'clock just to make sure you went to work. I don't know, could be. But
nothing that specific. I mean, no, Tash is just has a very gentle way of always, of the way she shows her care. Yeah. So the song is as much a story about how we came together as much as me being in a difficult position making this record recently, and also about how, I think it can be taken more broadly as, just about how someone else's grace can take you out of, when you're getting too self-involved or when you're, really struggling to make sense of parts of your life. In this case, for me, it was specifically prompted by, my experience making the record and how Tash sort of helped me through some of that. But
because and I was not well, but I could not help myself. But she did it, and she saved you. That's the end of the song. Have all the recordings have they been like this, or is it just for this album, or?
How do you mean?
Hard, not hard, easy.
They've. I feel like they've gotten harder.
Yeah.
Maybe I get harder on myself,
and
I aspire, especially as I listen more broadly. I think I aspire to to sort of go further with what I can express in the songs that I write and in the way that the records I make, how they sound. And so it's easy to get disappointed or to feel like I'm not achieving or not realizing the sound I want to hear, the feeling I want to get from what I'm creating. Maybe when I was in my early 20s, it was a bit more just, it was just exploring very broadly in lots of different things. And I don't know, maybe sometimes, when your frame of reference is not as broad, then you're more easily kind of, you sort of follow your whims and, you come up with stuff and you don't have as broad a reference. I feel like I'm kind of, it's good to be objective on the one hand, but also, when you're sort of aware of maybe a lot of the art that, has inspired you or that you think has been able to express things in a very powerful, eloquent way to you, then, you can, and if you evaluate any of the work you're doing, then it's easy to get very hard on yourself, I think. There's a lot of great work out there.
That is certainly is.
There's a lot of really terrible stuff too, so sometimes maybe you can remind yourself of that too.
Maybe listen to terrible stuff when you're recording an album.
Yep, maybe. Well, it's funny that because sometimes I think I do take a certain, not that it's terrible music, but sometimes I like taking quite light novelty, I'd say a lot of forgotten music from bygone decades and finding very incidental, even forgotten parts of those records, bits that other people might not ever hear, and trying to turn them into, you know, major sounds or hooks in songs of mine, and trying to make stuff that I think is good, I guess.
Is there one example that you have?
I don't know if it's just, say, a very obscure sort of generic, you know, brass band sounding recording from the 50s, you know, maybe even it's an unnamed generic orchestra recording hits of the day.
Oh, yeah.
And then somewhere there in the arrangement, there's actually some incidental sound that's actually quite interesting, and finding that and sort of turning it into something, you know, sort of that sounds different, sounds newer, sounds interesting, hopefully, in context in a newer song. I don't know, there's something about that I like. It's a salvaging aspect, and also the kind of, you know, the collecting and discovering.
Yeah.
Yeah.